Hey everybody, welcome. Majors Live, episode 300.
That's 3 with 2 zeros.
3 with 2 zeros here on TMSNX Radio, themajors.net. I am Adam Hernandez. With me, the crew that is has gotten to the 300th episode here. Dorf, Shawn.
This is our 50th episode together.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
started at 251.
Yep. Yep. 50th episode together. It's been great thus far.
No one's died.
No one's died.
Yeah,
Shawn shows up sporadically, and
it's true. That's true. That's very true. Sorry I missed the past, 3 weeks.
well, actually, we were kind of, putting it off and putting it on, and, I wish we could have had some other guys here, but there's, been some stuff and, beyond our control here that has happened that unfortunately
You're not able to join us.
Yep, not able to join us, but we have full house in terms of this current show here tonight. So 300th episode, it's been a long time.
Quite a run.
Yeah, quite a run. 300th episode. I know.
Most people say, I can do a podcast and then fizzle out after about 6 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I haven't seen 300 episodes as far as podcasting goes because, I mean, this stretches back.
Joe Rogan made it to 1,000 a couple weeks ago.
Joe Rogan doesn't count.
Yeah.
Why? He's professional.
I'm just kidding. No, but I mean,
by the way, entertaining, just podcast about anything, just random shit. Joe Rogan's podcast.
You know what? That's what I've heard.
They're
I've heard
all 3 hours long and totally unscripted. It's great.
I've heard that from a lot of people, and it's probably something that
you should start listening to.
I need to check it out. I mean, can you download it on iTunes?
You can have it on YouTube anytime you want.
Oh, it's YouTube?
Well, that's where he distributes it there. But
okay.
You can watch it live or replay it on YouTube.
Oh. Well, I know you're about the YouTube Red.
I've got YouTube Red for the sole purpose of being able to download shit.
I'm not all about the YouTube Red. I mean, I you know what though? Actually, I have YouTube Red right now.
Do you?
And I kind of like it, but isn't $10
a month?
I thought it was $12 a month.
I think it's $9.99.
Is it $9.99?
Pretty sure it's $9.99.
You know how many different $9.99 things I'm paying for right now?
About 7.
Yeah. So
let's see. Netflix, Hulu.
Yeah, Netflix, Hulu.
How much is HBO Go?
I don't have HBO.
It's only $10 a month.
What does your Sirius subscription cost?
That's that's not. I don't.
$17 a month.
No, not that much.
Okay.
Sirius isn't that expensive, but I also have the WWE Network, which is $7.99. SoundCloud is $15.
Is that the SoundCloud for us to upload it, or is that SoundCloud
unlimited uploads? Unlimited uploads.
Otherwise, isn't it 3 hours a week or something like that?
It's not my 6 hours. No, it's not weekly. It's that's
monthly.
That's all you get.
Oh.
They make it sound all
Well, it's not. It's primarily for the SoundCloud rappers. It's not primarily for podcasters.
Yeah, but when you upload something, you don't want to have to get rid of it.
True story, bro.
I mean, you want to keep it up there.
Keep the back catalog.
Yeah, and with all the and if you don't get the $15 package or option, then you're having to delete past shit.
So how where else are we at? Pro Football Focus. That's $9. Although I'm paying.
Actually, you pay for that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things. So I mean, but as far as YouTube Red goes, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I like it.
Hey, speaking of unofficial YouTube Red, download our back catalog from YouTube Red.
Yes,
Majors
the Majors, YouTube.com/The Majors TV. Good job there, Dorf. I like that.
Shameless cross promotion.
But we do have a fan question tonight. That fan question: what streak is more telling? Cleveland's winning streak. What did they finally tap out at? 22 games, or the Dodgers' 11-game losing streak, which was their largest since moving from Brooklyn, 100 years ago or something like that.
I don't think it was quite that long.
No, it wasn't that long ago. I think it was 60s. Early 60s. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been yeah. Anyways, which one is more telling? We'll get to that in just a little bit. Big news in sports, though, this week, and it really hasn't. It didn't happen on any field or court or diamond or pitch. It happened.
Or pool.
Yeah, a pool, a golf course. It happened on Twitter, and it involved not an athlete, but a
broadcaster.
But a broadcaster, exactly. Jemele Hill of ESPN.
Local lady.
Local lady here in Michigan, yes. Went to Michigan State.
From the D.
From Detroit. She anchors the 6 o'clock Sports Center, which is arguably the most watched Sports Center, I'm assuming, considering the no, it's not.
It's the 10 Eastern.
Is it the 10 Eastern? After everything is on?
SVP.
Yeah, okay.
Scott Van Pelt is the highest watched one.
Oh, Scott Van Pelt is? Yeah. I like Scott Van Pelt, too. I don't mind.
He has a sandwich in the cafeteria called the Scott Van Melt.
Oh, does he?
No.
Oh, was that
one of those This is Sports Center commercials.
Was that one of those ESPN commercials? Okay.
Yeah, This is Sports Center commercials.
But
Drew Rosenhaus was negotiating his contract that he would have 2 signature catchphrases that nobody else could use, and he would have a sandwich named after him in the cafeteria.
No, I loved the Drew Rosenhaus one too, where he's negotiating the lunch price.
Yeah. How about $6.75? And you throw in a drink. Okay.
Done. No, those are great. I love those.
I wish they'd do more of those.
Yeah, me too. But
just proves ESPN is no fun anymore.
Jemele Hill causing a little bit of an uproar this past week when she tweeted on her personal Twitter page that, and let me get the quote up here, Donald Trump is a white supremacist who has largely surrounded himself with other white supremacists. That's what she tweeted back on September 11th at almost 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. As of then, it's gotten over 13, almost 14,000 retweets, over 36,000 hearts, favorites.
How many comments?
9,301.
So, also known as a bajillion Twitter impressions.
Yes. Yeah, she has certainly gotten some Twitter traction out of that tweet. Not that that's exactly what she was going for. I'm sure she was.
Side effect.
I'm sure she was in large part going out there to just make a personal statement.
I think she was responding to somebody else, though, wasn't she?
I don't see a reply on there. But she did have to come out. And she didn't give a retract to it. She actually just came out and said, my comments on Twitter express my personal beliefs. My regret is that my comments and the public way I made them painted ESPN in an unfair light. My respect for the company and my colleagues remains unconditional. Of course, this caught the attention of Donald Trump, who tweeted out ESPN is paying a really big price for its politics and bad programming. People are dumping it in record numbers. Apologize for untruth. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the White House press secretary, also came out and said that this was pretty much a fireable offense. Not telling ESPN to fire Jemele Hill, but kind of alluding to the fact that the White House is trying to...
Advocating for the firing of somebody from a private company.
Exactly. But
because she said mean things about them on Twitter.
Because she said mean things about them on Twitter. Now, of course, a couple of weeks ago, Dorf, Shawn, we talked about ESPN's position here in the I guess media landscape. And we asked the question, whether or not ESPN was going too liberal. And we are by no means one way or the other here. I am a very liberal person. Dorf is more of a conservative person, although I would argue in recent years he's gone.
Touchdown, C.J. Anderson. Woo! I'm actively enjoying my fantasy football blowout right now.
Dorf, I would say, has gone more independent in recent times.
If you had to put a label on it, I would be the classic British liberal. If you require a label.
Shawn is a bleeding heart conservative who loves Kid Rock.
Whoa!
Loves to kill animals.
Whoa, that does not mean I like Kid Rock, because I actually do hate Kid Rock. I don't like Kid Rock. I've never liked Kid Rock.
He liked him until he became political.
No, I never liked him until he started doing country music, and then that's when I lost hope for the guy.
Oh, you're not a country music fan?
I love country music, but he is awful at country music.
Did you like Kid Rock of the Bot?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
So you like classic Kid Rock.
Yes.
Anyways, though, like I said, I just want to preface that we are no way one way or the other. Like I said, I'm liberal. Dorf is more of a conservative type of individual, and I would hearken that Shawn is probably somewhere in the center there.
Yes.
Okay. Double-edged sword, though. We did talk about this. We did talk about ESPN perhaps moving to the left, and we mentioning primarily the Caitlyn Jenner thing when they gave her the Arthur Ashe Courage Award
instead of brain cancer basketball lady.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Now, people have been arguing whether or not this has been a double-edged sword. And there's going to be three questions I'm going to be answering or asking during this segment. Double-edged sword or apples and oranges, which is kind of a two-part question to the first question here. Mm-hmm. Where does the hypocrisy lie?
If at all.
And is this the new norm in the sports world? I want to start off with the double-edged sword or apples and oranges, because we've had some former ESPN personalities coming out and kind of raising an issue with this. Two of them, namely, Britt McHenry and Curt Schilling. Britt McHenry recently getting fired during the purging a few months ago.
She was part of the purge.
Yep, a few months ago. Curt Schilling, when was he fired? Was it last year?
Yeah, it's been about a year now.
It was like middle of 2016.
Yeah, relieved of his Baseball Tonight.
So now he does a podcast for Breitbart.
Yes, he does a podcast for Breitbart now. And Linda Cohn's still there, though, isn't she?
Still there.
She's still there, but she was disciplined for speaking out against the company, not on ESPN. I believe it was on another platform, on another radio show, that she was speaking out against ESPN's business practices in terms of them going out and dishing out a whole bunch of money to, maintain NFL contracts, NCAA contracts, baseball contracts, while colleagues of hers were getting the axe left and right during the purge. Now, you could say that there is a huge difference between Linda Cohn and Jemele Hill, and the lack of discipline that Jemele Hill got in all of this. Jemele Hill really didn't get any discipline. Jemele Hill was doing her show immediately after this happened. The next day, Linda Cohn, I believe she was suspended, but she was also, verbally reprimanded over what she said. But again, there is a difference. And this is something that Big Lee touched on, too, a couple of days ago, talking about the difference and how this is an apples and oranges type of thing. And you guys can go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, if you disagree with this. Linda Cohn was out there outright criticizing the company that she works for. Jemele Hill didn't do that. Jemele Hill was criticizing the President of the United States. Whether you agree with her assessment or not, she was criticizing the President of the United States, who in no way or fashion has any say in terms of what ESPN does on a day-to-day basis. Donald Trump, no matter what he may think personally, has no impact whatsoever on what ESPN does on a day-to-day basis. He shouldn't have, at least. Linda Cohn, what she said publicly about the upper echelon of ESPN could in some ways have a negative impact on how that company is viewed. Same with Jemele Hill. But the bottom line is these are two very, very different circumstances here when it comes to the criticism. Is that correct? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree with that?
I agree.
Okay.
Totally.
As far as Britt McHenry and Curt Schilling goes, Dorf, we've talked about Britt McHenry.
Britt McHenry is a replacement level talent who was like.
I see. I knew Dorf was going to say replacement level at some point in time. But he's right. Go ahead.
Replacement level talent who was a cap casualty.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And
Curt Schilling was an asshole and got fired.
Yes. The thing with Britt McHenry is she was a dime a dozen. How many white, blonde hair, blue eyes, sideline reporters are there in sports broadcasting?
Let alone one that the reason that she likely didn't get fired for her whole towing incident,
parking lot
towing attendant incident was because, you know what, the last thing we want to do is make this a 48-hour news cycle how we had to fire somebody for being an ass. so we're just going to hide her in the closet and run her contract out and let her go.
Yes.
That's what Britt McHenry was. Kurt Schilling was a douchebag and got fired for being a douchebag. Regardless of the politics of it, Kurt Schilling was an asshole and wasn't apologetic at all.
And Kurt Schilling
embarrassed the company.
And many times over.
Many times over.
Now, and I'm not saying, because as far as I...
Quite frankly, wasn't all that great at his job.
No, and as far as I know, Dorf, I mean, this is the first time that Jemele Hill has done something like this. No, it's not?
No. This is the first time it's gotten this much attention.
Okay.
She's very, very, let's call it politically involved on social media.
Okay. You know what? I will say this. I'm not
You're ignorant of the situation?
I'm not a big fan of ESPN. I'm not.
Neither am I. I don't watch them anymore either.
I don't watch ESPN, but I don't watch. I don't not watch them because of politics or anything like that.
Because
it's
they're
boring.
not worth watching.
Yeah, there's other mediums that I go to now.
I get my highlights on the internet.
I get my highlights on the internet. I get my sports news from the internet. I don't have time to sit down and watch ESPN.
And watch commercials to watch highlights.
Exactly. That's not what I want to do. But as far as Kurt Schilling goes, Kurt Schilling was warned many times.
Yep. Dude was a nutcase.
Kurt Schilling made a borderline, in some cases, racist comments on Twitter. I mean,
Kurt Schilling was an ass and embarrassed the company.
Kurt Schilling
How did he have a job for so long?
I don't know.
Because the same reason Britt McHenry did.
Yeah, probably.
Because you make it worse by firing him. Because then guess what? You have no control over what he says. And the publicity tour of everybody, you were the worldwide leader. Everybody is going to shove a microphone in front of his face to, hey, what would you like to say to damage the worldwide leader? Knock him down a peg. Especially Fox.
And he's loving this, too, right now.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kurt Schilling's loving this. Britt McHenry's loving this. Britt McHenry is outright trying to audition for a job for Fox News. That's what she's doing right now, especially on Twitter.
And she wasn't shy about it.
She's getting her name out way more than what it was before, and that's why she's in the spotlight right now, so she's going to be able to get something.
But...
whatever.
There is no double-edged sword. I don't want to make it sound like I'm defending ESPN, because I think ESPN has done some wrong. That whole Robert E. Lee thing... Taking that
was just put him there.
Yeah,
as soon as everybody sees that it's an Asian man, no one's gonna care.
They're not gonna care. And you know what?
And guess what? It wasn't even on TV. It was an ESPN3 broadcast.
Oh, was it?
Yes. It was for the internet only, and about 12 people are gonna see it.
So they brought more attention onto it themselves. They didn't need to do that. And the other one too. Didn't they reprimand somebody for saying "chink in the armor" too?
Oh my god!
That was a couple years ago.
And then they fire somebody.
That was a couple years ago.
But again, another instance where ESPN
come on, that's
went
that's like a phrase in common usage.
Sure, it is.
That there's a blemish in your armor.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't think ESPN is wrong in their approach with this. And we're going to go on, and I'll explain why a little bit more here in just a little bit. But first, where does the hypocrisy lie? A lot of people will come out and say sports has no business in politics, and vice versa. Politics has no business in sports. Donald Trump, I don't know how many times I've made it apparent on this show. I don't want to say too many times. If you go and listen to the XCast over on the EmpireMedia.com, I've made it very, very apparent. I am no way, fashion, a fan of Donald Trump. I hate Donald Trump. I think the guy is on the last show. I said that Brad Osmus was what was the word I used?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I wasn't baseball illiterate.
Incompetent baseball.
Baseball incompetent. There we go. I think Donald Trump.
Incompetent?
I think Donald Trump is politically incompetent. I think he is
master of 4D chess.
Donald Trump is in many ways. He brings out the worst in this country.
Yes,
in many ways. He's also a tremendous hypocrite as well. Donald Trump wanted ESPN to reprimand Jemele Hill for her comments and apologize for untruth. He goes and say that ESPN is paying a really big price for its politics, so on and so forth. According to NPR.org, there's no evidence that ESPN is losing subscribers because of its politics. ESPN might be losing subscribers based on bigger
cord cutting
measures that is happening.
And millennials don't watch sports. or get TV for that matter.
Yes. Donald Trump, a lot of people may go ahead and say as well that they don't want to see people like Jemele Hill commenting on sports.
Or commenting on politics.
Or sorry about that. Yep, commenting on politics. But we go both ways here. Donald Trump has gone out, commented on politics before. Donald Trump, during a campaign rally, went out and said that he is one of the big reasons why Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job in the NFL right now. Because
teams are afraid of what he'll...
Because NFL owners are afraid of what Donald Trump will say on Twitter. Do you guys think that that's the case? Because
We're talking Kaepernick here?
Are teams afraid of what Donald Trump is going to say about them on Twitter?
Yes, because he's the president now.
He's the most powerful man in the world. At the same time, right or wrong, you could argue, let's just say for round numbers, 20% of the U.S. population are drooling sloppies for the man.
Mm-hmm.
When 20% of your customer base can be swayed, influenced, and otherwise by the words of one person, you're wise to heed the damage that can be done to your brand, regardless of who that one person is. You can't take that risk for your business, let alone, the whole adage, healing heals all, or winning heals all.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone when he's a mid to lower level quarterback who all the eyes are going to be on, waiting for him to make a mistake. This isn't like you're going to go hide him in San Francisco right now like Brian Hoyer.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the people couldn't tell you who started for Minnesota this week.
Case Keenum.
Yep.
Well, you're not the majority of people. Majority of NFL
fans. Who
fans.
sucked really bad for Minnesota this week?
Case Keenum.
Keenum. The majority of people couldn't tell you who the starting quarterback for the Browns is. My point being is it worth...
Deshaun Kaiser.
Yes, I know you guys can't. Shut up. Is it worth...
Who's the quarterback for the Houston Texans?
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson currently. Could be Tom Savage tomorrow. We don't know.
Sorry, Derek. Go ahead.
But it's not worth putting your brand at risk, your franchise at risk, when essentially the man with one little, tippity tap of his phone can deflate your franchise, your business's value 20%. Turn 20% of your customers off to you.
I think people are going to be... Personally, I don't think that...
And that's even before you get to the people that aren't, drooling slappies but are insulted by the flag kneeling thing. I would classify another 10% of the U.S. population as that.
Given Donald Trump's popularity, I don't think that him going out and tweeting about a team is going to do a whole lot.
But why risk it?
Well, I mean, it's
for
Donald Trump.
Why risk it for Colin Kaepernick? It'd be one thing if you were risking it for Drew Brees or Tom Brady or insert B-level or above quarterback. It'd be one thing to risk it for that guy. But not for a polarizing political figure in Colin Kaepernick, and B, a guy that barely is hanging on as being talented enough to be in this league.
Well, I don't want to. Like we've
hashed this one out.
We've talked this through many a time over, and Dorf and I disagree on this.
I don't say here. Don't mistake my commentary for endorsement of the behavior. It's just
whose behavior?
Anybody.
Let me
finish.
Okay.
It's just the reality of the situation. Whether that thought or expectation or the reaction, it's not an endorsement of that. It's just a possible reality of the situation. Where when you're playing at the the multi-billion-dollar organizational level, you can't risk that.
Okay. Other question here: if politicians insert themselves into the sports world, is it fair game for sports figures to do the same?
Yes.
I totally
Free country. Agree. Just don't remember.
I don't
political statements have personal consequences.
Well, I don't necessarily want to go to the free country thing. Because,
you're right.
Because when we're dealing with something like this, it's not a free country because ESPN could have canned Jemele Hill if they wanted to.
Yeah, because she's an at-will employee.
Yes. So yes, it is a free country. I mean, the government cannot arrest Jemele Hill for those comments.
Absolutely.
But ESPN could have certainly fired her for those comments.
For embarrassing the company.
But
causing damage to the company, financial damage to the company. There'd be an at-will and reasonable termination upheld in court.
Now I will say this. I will say that it is perfectly fair game.
That's a risk. That's a risk that she took, and you know what? It hasn't done anything to her.
I will say though, if politicians insert themselves into the sports world, yes, it is fair game. Vice versa. Absolutely,
it's fair game regardless.
Absolutely. Well, again,
don't ask Ted Cruz about basketball.
Basketball goal? What do you say?
Basketball ring.
Yeah, basketball ring.
He's
too watch your shooty hoops.
Yeah, he's too busy liking porn videos on Twitter. So
they actually fired an intern. Found a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, they found the sacrificial lamb.
Hey kid, we're gonna fire you. We're not gonna put out your name. Congressman Sass in Nebraska has an opening for you. Just move your stuff up there. we're trading Twitter interns.
Now, though, this kind of leads me into the next question here. Is this the new norm for the sports world? And I will say this, that I don't necessarily think this is a bad look for ESPN. First of all, I think that they approach this the right way because
now they can play. I don't want to say, I hate this term. They can play victim. They stood up to the big bad bully.
The big bad bully and who?
The Donald.
Oh, the Donald.
By refusing to do anything, you stood up to the big bad bully.
Yeah, I don't know if they're
not necessarily an endorsement of Jemele Hill's, what she said, conduct, character, whatever. But the big mean bad bully in the White House using the bully pulpit, you stood up to him and won.
Yes.
That is not only a political victory, but likely a victory for your company as a whole.
Well, it's a win in the sense that they're probably not going to fire her, even though the White House has called on them to fire her, which is
silly.
It's silly. I mean, it's you can argue
the bully pulpit personified.
You can make an argument that it's unconstitutional to make that claim.
I want to hear that argument. I just think that's a.
I'm not saying it's
a misinterpretation.
I'm not saying it's correct, but there will be people out there that would argue it as being unconstitutional. Government entity get involved with a private company, private in the sense that they're not government affiliated. But
we're not going to go down there.
No, I don't want to go down there.
We're not going down that rabbit hole.
As far as though this being a new norm in the sports world, I think it very well can be the new norm in the sports world. We've seen everything that's gone on with Colin Kaepernick. We've seen what Colin Kaepernick has in many ways spawned with his actions. It's not just Colin Kaepernick doing it anymore. Well, Colin
Kaepernick
there's
so many people doing it.
There's a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of people doing it.
Cleveland Bennett.
Yep. Fans are getting involved with this now.
Mm-hmm.
Sports personalities, media personalities are obviously getting involved with this. We saw, people at ESPN backing Jemele Hill over this.
They tried to suspend her. They couldn't find anybody to take her place.
No.
Allegedly, reportedly, whatever.
Now, is this also a good thing though for ESPN in the sense that does this increase viewership? Does this increase interest?
It might give you it will give you the Trump bump. But long term, no. People are not running up to subscribe to cable in order to watch Jemele Hill. You might get more people who currently have it to check in over the next week or two, but you're not going to get any new subscribers out of this.
But is this the outlet to maybe enhancing your own personality?
So you're saying Jemele Hill is trying out for a gig at ESPN? Or not ESPN, CNN?
Not necessarily CNN, but let's be honest with ourselves.
Or are you saying that this is a transition of ESPN away from just being sports ball into politics plus sports ball?
Look, politics
permanently.
So they think
So they're going to rehire Keith Olbermann.
So they're
and
going
let him do whatever
to
Keith
try to
wants.
be like, you know how CBS has CBS Sports, CBS News, CBS so and so.
Well,
The only problem with that
so
is they're owned by ABC.
right.
Yes.
So
So
you're trying to say maybe
This is
ESPN is
ABC
trying
Sports.
to create their own, say, ESPN politics, the ESPN.
No, because they're like Dorf already said, they already have ABC. They're
Okay.
ABC. They're ABC's entity.
You know what? If
here.
that may not be a terrible idea, Sean. You do the Ocho for the ridiculous stuff.
Mhm.
You have ESPN for its traditional content, ESPN2 for the overflow,
Mhm.
and ESPN politics. I don't know if
Did you say depolitics?
Yeah, he said into politics.
You know, come on. It was,
Deportes.
it was a plan Deportes. Come on. You know, the political angle of sports ball.
Mhm.
You might be able to.
I think we mentioned something about that before too.
You might be able to. They might be able to do that.
I wouldn't
especially
be
if,
shocked to see something like that.
the like subsections on their website of like ESPNW and stuff like that. You know, which is not necessarily just covering women's sports, but like women's issues in sports and other stuff like that. Could have a huge block of programming there. You could do the. You could hire Keith Olbermann back.
I think you know what
like-
though. There's a big difference though between Jemele Hill and Keith Olbermann.
No,
It's
absolutely.
a huge difference.
But what I'm saying is, you could have dedicated content for that.
No, I think
For example, what you see at like Vice Sports.
Mhm.
There's a market for that. Whether or not it's enough to sustain a television channel is another story.
You would probably see,
But it's not like there's nothing.
right? You'd probably if that did happen, you'd see a lot of that stuff,
don't
like
put- don't be
because it's
partial.
up and coming or whatever you want to say. They'd be showing it later at night when nobody's really
No.
paying attention or
I'm
something
not
like that,
talking
or-
like later at night. I'm talking like dedicated channel, like
Okay.
a new channel. As long as I get the Ocho out of it too.
ESPN Red, ESPN Blue,
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
something like that.
No, I'm not saying you need both sides of it.
Well,
So you just like it's just a whole new channel for just all that stuff.
Yes,
okay.
two talking heads yelling at each other about sports issues and politics.
Well, look, I mean, ESPN has, and NPR was right, and ESPN's problem before hasn't been necessarily politics. ESPN's problem before has been them trying to continue a tired old product in SportsCenter, have everything revolve
They've
around that.
diluted SportsCenter to human interest story, and got away with what made it great, which was highlight package, highlight package, highlight
But they
package.
can't do highlight package anymore.
Because everybody already saw it on Twitter.
Exactly. So is this... Maybe this is the new outlet. Maybe what Jemele Hill did, and I don't disagree with her at all. Politics on the table right now. I think Donald Trump has surrounded himself with people who perhaps favor white nationalism over the other. When you have Steve Bannon and...
Who's not there anymore.
Who's not there anymore, but was there for quite a while.
5 months.
And part of his campaign.
3 months. So 8 in total.
And when you have a guy like, what's his face? Balding guy. What the hell is his name?
What does he do?
He was gonna be the communications director.
Scaramucci?
No. He's actually he palled around with Richard Spencer at Duke.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Stephen something.
Miller?
Stephen Miller, yes.
Oh, Richard Spencer?
Wait a second. Is that it?
No, Stephen Miller's still there and is a policy advisor, and that's all he's ever been. You saw him yelling at Jim Acosta on TV. That's why he's internet famous.
Yeah, no, he palled around with Richard Spencer at Duke.
Hadn't heard that.
And yes, they were talking about him possibly, getting a promotion because of that back and forth with Jim Acosta.
So is that who you're thinking of? That guy?
Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller.
Yes, Stephen Miller.
He's also like 31 years old and probably not experienced enough for a major cabinet position.
But they're also talking about Hope Hicks.
Yeah.
Platooning her up.
Whatever, man.
But anyways, though.
I just back to what we were going on there before. Once again, I disagree with the assessment of Jemele Hill. Totally will defend to my dying day her right to say it. when you throw around terms like white supremacist is willy-nilly as has been thrown around recently, it starts to lose its meaning.
Hey,
When everything's a white supremacy, nothing is.
Hey, I don't...
It's a humongously serious accusation. Twitter is probably not the right place for it because it's 140 characters. You can't really draw out or defend your position.
Tell that to the president.
I know. I'm not defending his use of Twitter either. But when everything, it's the boy who cried white supremacist. When you use that term as loosely as it's been used in politics of late, it starts to not mean anything. And guess what? The people the people who already agree with you, you're not going to lose. The people you need to try and convince in order to make any change, the center, are going to be turned off by it because you know what? You're going to use that term associated with, like, for example, I don't have a great example.
We're not talking about.
I know we're not.
We're not. This isn't the first time.
Wrong place for this.
We're not talking about one-off time that Donald Trump has made a questionable comment about that makes you think twice about a possible support for white supremacy. Donald Trump has gone on, and look, I'm with you. I think the term white supremacy, white nationalist, accusing somebody of racism or being a Nazi that's something that can be thrown around way, way too much.
It's because it's so politically weaponized.
However, when you look at all the different instances that Donald Trump...
And I'm not debating that with you. I disagree with her assessment. I totally agree with her right to say it and how everybody's acted in the situation.
You agree with... You disagree... Okay, you said you don't disagree with me on that.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
All I was trying to say is I'm not saying that Jemele Hill's comments were correct. What I'm saying is I totally agree with her right and ability to say it.
But you said you disagreed with her assessment.
Yeah. I don't share these comments that we're talking about. I don't share those as I give them a little bit more of a charitable interpretation.
Okay.
And you know what? We can sit here and go through quote after quote after quote that you would call up, and I'd probably agree with you on most of them. But before I'm willing to label somebody, whether that's President Trump or anybody else, with such a damaging term, I'm going to give them a little tiny bit more leeway than that. Because you can ruin somebody over that. You better make sure it's right.
Ruin somebody? This guy has had...
I'm not talking about the president specifically! Talking about the use of the term.
I am. I'm not sitting...
We're not talking about the same thing!
Well, I'm not... What I'm saying is I'm not going to sit here and call Shawn a racist. Because
Hey, Shawn, that hat makes you a racist.
Because there's no evidence in hand for me to call him that. Or to me, that would be something that's ludicrous. When you look at all the different things that Donald Trump has done, though, I think Jemele Hill is perfectly within her, well, not only just within her right, but within the realm of truth that what she is saying is correct. That's what I'm saying here.
Okay.
And I think it's...
And I'm not willing to go there yet. There we are.
I loved how he said you guys weren't going to argue on this topic.
I thought we had a similar position here that, you know what?
That's great.
Well, we do in the sense that what she has the right to say it. I think we both agree that ESPN took the right approach with it and not suspending her.
They tried to. There was a staff mutiny and said, like hell, I'm going to take her spot.
Okay, well, do you think they should have suspended her?
No.
Okay, well, then we would agree on that as well.
You may call, it may be a call into the boss's office and like, did you really want all this attention on us and yourself? Okay, just get ready for the shitstorm.
Do we agree that there's no double-edged sword here when we're talking about Britt McHenry, Linda Cohn?
No.
Kurt Schilling?
Britt McHenry was a bitch in public, got caught, the clock ran out on her because it was less politically damaging to the ESPN to, just let her time end here instead of firing her early.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Schilling was an asshole and got fired for it. Linda Cohn embarrassed the company and paid for it with a suspension because none of her colleagues were willing to back her up on that. Jemele Hill would have got suspended here if, everybody else wouldn't have said, no, not gonna step in that shit pile.
Okay.
And Jemele Hill's, you know.
See, we're on the same track here. Sean, trying to put a
You're
wedge.
trying to put a wedge in between
what
us.
did I say? I said I'm going to be the instigator, and I'm going to kind of get you going.
He did say that.
So you guys,
God damn it! It only took you 40 minutes.
Hey, you guys were leading up to it. And I was like, you know what? I don't even have to do this because you guys are doing it
Sean
yourself.
was like, I'm sitting here like, yes, I don't have to do my grandmaster plan is working out.
And it worked. It worked.
It sure did. Holy shit, we've done like 45 minutes on this.
Yes.
It's okay.
It's all good.
And that's why we do the show second. It generally runs long.
Yep. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and move on. We're gonna get to our bitches and badasses here. Let me get some music queued up here, and let's go with a little. What's this one?
A little lame, but okay.
Kind of lame. How about this one? Ooh, Rastafarian.
So we're doing bitches or badasses first?
No, obviously this is badass because you know our pitch song already.
Yeah.
We need to change it to the...
Whatever.
Whatever.
Let's do it. Badasses. Dorf, go.
My badass this week is actually going to be the Cleveland Indians. The Windians. 22-game winning streak snapped yesterday. Actually, it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. 22-game win streak snapped Saturday. Longest in the history of the American League. Congratulations to the Cleveland Windians. Went from a very competitive division about a month ago to now winning it handily.
Great. Yay, go. Go Cleveland. Shawnee, go
Hey,
ahead.
that's how you rebuild right.
I'm actually going to go.
Notes, Tigers.
I am going to go with Charlie Blackmon, center fielder for the Colorado Rockies, breaking the record for most RBIs for a leadoff hitter, and he's on pace to break Ricky Henderson's OPS record for a leadoff hitter. And currently, he leads the league all of baseball in runs, hits, triples, and he's third in batting average and fourth in slugging percentage as a leadoff hitter.
Cool.
I would say MVP candidate, maybe.
This includes, restarts Sean's run of picking Colorado Rockies as badass of the week.
There we go.
Just wait till baseball season's over. That was when that streak will end.
And it's going to go back to GMs.
Is it going to be? Yeah, it's going to be general managers.
That's pretty much what it's going to be.
That general manager made a great signing 6 months ago. He's my badass this week.
I have never had a badass for a GM. They've always been my bitches.
Well, hey though, when you come every 6 months, I guess
See, there you go. There you go. See, you're happy. Are you happy? At least I come up with one. All right.
My badass this week is Chase McGrath, kicker for the USC Trojans. Last night, kicking. It's a freshman walk-on. First of all, went out there, kicked the game-tying field goal as when USC were able to get themselves in position to do so, and then he went and he kicked the game-winning field goal in the second overtime. I think from it was 30-some yards out, which isn't easy for freshman walk-on. In college. NFL kickers will make that more.
Yeah,
times
just
than
ask the
not,
San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
Just back-to-back walk-off field goals.
But yeah, that's
Oops.
Yeah, that's what we have going on for the badasses and the bitches this week. Sean, we'll go with you first.
All right, I'm gonna do it. My bitch is gonna be the ginger from Cincinnati.
Oh, that's racist.
The Andy Dalton project. When will it end? Oh my gosh, the guy is this.
Weather question is one with the Marvin Lewis regime.
Yeah, exactly.
No kidding.
Or seriously,
He must have some dirt. He has to have some dirt on Cincinnati ownership.
I don't know. How does he still have a job? The dude had an awful season last year. He's off to an awful start again. They just fired their offensive coordinator, so he's going to be starting from scratch again. So he's going to be awful again. So
it sounded like there's going to be a mutiny there.
Yeah.
Quote unquote mutiny.
If they didn't fire the OC,
that's what I got from it.
When will AJ Green request a trade?
probably already has.
Yes.
But he's a better man than that.
Yes.
All right. Me?
Dorfalicious, go ahead.
My bitch this week is going to be Detroit Tigers manager Brad Ausmus for getting all shitty with the media when they had the balls to ask him, why didn't you substitute out the wounded baby deer in right field when you're trying to protect a no-hitter?
Wounded baby deer.
got shitty with the Detroit media today after his starting pitcher Matt Boyd had lost a no-hitter with 1 out remaining. Mostly because his Gumby wounded baby deer, playing right field. Nick Castellanos, bless his heart, not a right fielder, shouldn't be out there. Wasn't able to get to a fairly routine gap shot with a plethora, like 3 better defensive players on the bench that he could have used in that situation. Got all shitty with them. How dare you ask that question? You should be asking questions and be, raining down praise on Matt Boyd for his excellent game today. Not asking me about why I didn't sub out Nick Castellanos, you ungrateful bitches. That is a paraphrase.
I thought that was actual quote. So.
Yes.
I didn't do my accent very well. Damn it.
My bitch this week is the Nebraska football team. Again, you did all of this. You got rid of Bo Pelini for this.
Oh my gosh.
You got rid of Bo
paid
Pelini
$800,000 to lose.
You lose to Northern Illinois 21-17 at home. You
in
paid
a game that you wrote a $0.8 million check for them to show up. For these guys to ride a bus 4 hours?
They were like, Northern Illinois is guys. So guess what? Who's not driving a bus anymore? We be flying now.
and they get all plane ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't taking the bus home. We flying back,
Bitches.
Not that our town has an airport big enough to land a commercial jetliner.
Well, guess what? They're going to be buying helicopters. All right.
Heavy lift helicopters.
It hasn't been a good couple weeks though for the Big Ten and facing MAC opponents.
No, but it has been good for the Big Ten when it comes to beating the SEC. 2-0 against the SEC this year.
Yeah.
It's true.
How about those Ohio Bobcats, by the way? They pounded Kansas.
Yeah.
It's a black eye in the Big 12.
Oh, Kansas is horrible too.
Oh, yeah.
They lost to Central Michigan a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
also, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, University of Ohio, I think, beat them by 40.
Ugh. Awful. I gotta love it though. You know what though? I love it in the sense that I think the SEC is overrated when it comes to football. Big 12 is overrated too. Although
It's Oklahoma and everybody else.
Texas looked really good last night though. But we need more than that.
It's SC.
I'm also saying that we need more than just that to make a proper
assessment
when it comes to Texas. But I'm also still mad at them for the Charlie Strong thing too.
Yeah,
assholes.
They had a shit break. Tom Herman's a pretty good one though.
Tom Herman's good. They
got a pretty good one in Tom Herman.
They did.
It may have been now's the time to gather him up before somebody else does.
What, Tom Herman?
Yeah.
You mean in the NFL?
No. It was now or never. The University
of
Texas coveted him, and it was now or never.
Perhaps, yeah.
Charlie Strong, you still got a shit break there.
As far as those two teams go, I thought I could take a lot more out of Texas than that one. It seemed like than USC. I mean, Texas. Look, what was it? It was close against Maryland. Wait, no,
Maryland blew the doors off.
They lost to Maryland the first week. Not good. Defense looked horrible. Then they play San Jose State the second
beat
week.
on them pretty good.
Yeah, and then they come back and I think that's a building block game. Defense looked really, really good.
Yeah, you're 1-2, but at the same time,
freshman quarterback looked really, really good. But on the other side, though, when you're looking at SC, close game against Western, closer game against Western than you'd like, and then they come back and have a game like this against Texas at home. I think SC is a very vulnerable 3-0 team going forward from here.
Mm-hmm.
So
at the same time, it's the Pac-12. It's pretty weak sauce.
Weak sauce. They don't play anybody too, really, down the road.
Pac-12 South.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah, both Arizona teams are bad.
Should they play both of them?
Who else is in that? Stanford's not very good this year.
They play Cal coming up here.
Josh Rosen's probably going to be a top 5 draft pick, but it's Josh Rosen and
UCLA just lost.
Like Josh Rosen plays at UCLA.
Yeah.
No, Cal's not. Yeah, Cal's not good. UCLA is the Fighting Josh Rosens, and that's about it.
Notre Dame sucks.
Notre Dame blows. What else they got?
Both Arizona, as you said.
They play like Navy too or something like that.
They play Army, I think.
Oh, they'll beat them. Whatever.
Anyways, moving along here. The end of Roger Goodell. Jerry Jones reportedly impeding Roger Goodell's contract extension. This comes courtesy of ESPN, as well as a bunch of different media outlets. Thing is, too, is the negotiating when it comes to Roger Goodell's next contract. Jerry Jones really doesn't have anything to do with it.
No.
He's not.
Isn't it
part
like
of the
a
contract committee.
Isn't
No,
it
it's
like committee like only of like six? Yeah.
Now it's 7.
Apparently it is now 7. Now that Jerry Jones is getting into it. Obviously, Jerry Jones is not too happy about Roger Goodell's quest to suspend Ezekiel Elliott, which it's not over. The NFL filed the paperwork to get the
paperwork to have it immediately overturned.
Yep, and they say they want a response. I believe by September 21st. I may be wrong on that, but they wanted a quick turnaround on that. It does seem like a formality, though, that Roger Goodell will get a contract extension. At least that's what it seems like from all the rest of these owners within this committee. However, Roger Goodell, does Roger Goodell deserve a contract extension? When it comes
his
to
primary goal is enriching the NFL and growing the size of the pie. Let's call it.
Yes,
he's done that hand over fist.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
I think that a win for everybody might be giving an extension but removing player discipline from it,
which isn't a bad trade off.
Yeah.
No, Roger, you get to stay here and keep making. You'll probably make like $40 million a year.
Yeah,
he already makes like 36.
Makes a lot of money.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he makes like $36 million a year. Holy shit. I think he's like one of the highest paid executives in the entire world in cash compensation when it does come to like stock and bonuses and crap. The like pure cash, salary.
Mm-hmm.
He's like one of the top 5 or 6 paid CEOs in the world.
The NFL continues to think that the federal judge in Texas made a mistake last Friday when delaying the suspension
I don't want to play that.
Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott.
I'll get rid of it.
Hill.
Yeah, I don't want.
And they made the mistake of hiring a boob for an arbitrator.
No,
the arbitrator's like professionally negligent.
The NFL did a horrible job when it came to implementing this investigation into Ezekiel Elliott. Because I think if it was done right, I think that the truth would come out. And I think Ezekiel Elliott did do something to this girl. Absolutely. But the NFL's approach to doing this was completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You could say it was now, the NFL arbitration process is not a court of law. Do not mistake it for one. But if this was a case carried out in the court of law, it would have been thrown out. Or a countersuit would be ensued.
Let's just say Roger Goodell hasn't picked the right owners to go up against when it comes to things like this. He went up against Robert Kraft with the whole Tom Brady thing, and Roger Goodell and Robert Kraft were
buddies.
Were buddies. They were tight. Now you're going up against Jerry Jones.
You picked fights with the 2 most powerful and influential owners.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, here we go, Dorf. In his 11 years as commissioner, Goodell has made over $200 million, including a salary of $44 million in 2015.
Jesus Christ!
Wow.
And they say
that's like $900,000 a week.
And they say
$900,000 a week.
But one of the things they want to do is they want to lower his salary. Which again, I wouldn't disagree.
Good luck with that.
Well, why wouldn't they be able to?
You can't. If Rogers presented the alternative of take our lower offer or be gone with you, I'm sure he'll take it. But it's almost impossible to lower anybody's salary.
You know what though? I've been under the impression
keeping in the same position.
I've been under the impression though for a long time that they don't need Roger Goodell anymore. I think Roger Goodell needs the NFL more so than they.
Yes.
The NFL needs him.
Yes.
Okay.
I think the NFL. Look, the NFL is a cash cow in and of itself. It doesn't come down to one guy anymore. I mean, did they necessarily need to move on from Paul Tagliabue? Yeah, probably. Did they need a younger guy like Roger Goodell in there to
spice things up?
To spice things up a bit, and
so you're saying Roger Goodell has jumped the shark?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Roger Goodell has shown
Sounds
himself.
like a great topic for midday radio in this town.
Yeah, I mean, Roger Goodell has.
Jump the shark even mean?
Yeah, no kidding. Roger Goodell has again shown himself to be incompetent too when it comes to handling major off the field issues. Public relations. He is
hire a PR firm.
He is a disaster when it comes to that.
At the same time, let's put it this way: Roger Goodell, especially with the Zeke Elliott, is in a no-win situation. Your detractors, unless of course you come out and lay the hammer on Zeke Elliott, your detractors will say you're going soft on a woman beater.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go soft, you go soft on him, that's your criticism. If you go hard on him, it's this is a fucking witch hunt.
Mm-hmm.
This guy just let it was a witch hunt.
That's what may be best.
Despite all the evidence to the contrary, you still, gave Zeke Elliott a suspension.
You know what, though? With all that in mind, too, Dorf, maybe it's just in everybody's best interest to start fresh.
Yes.
Start with a new face in there.
Maybe.
Clean slate.
It's not a terrible idea.
Nothing,
It's not a terrible idea.
I mean, the pieces are in place for the NFL to certainly succeed and continue to succeed.
No doubt about it.
But I think the groundwork here is starting to be laid in terms of Roger Goodell possibly making his way out sooner rather than later on. I'm talking years on down the road here. Within the next 5 years, do you think it's entirely possible that the NFL has a new commissioner in place?
Absolutely.
So, stupid shit of the week. Boxing is still a fixed mess. We're going to run through the rest of these here.
Oh. Should have made boxing my bitch this week.
I was going to, but I just wanted to keep it
separate.
Keep it separate. Last night, we had the Gennady Golovkin Canelo Alvarez fight, which, look, boxing doesn't get very many of these. Many of these hyped fights that can end up being good for the sport. But no, judges once again have to step in all their absurdness in this. They went and called this a draw, even though it was pretty clear amongst everybody that Golovkin won this bout. He won this match, and according to all the pundits, I don't even want to call them conspiracy theorists at this point anymore because it's not a conspiracy theory at this point.
It's like the third fight in a row that's been stunk like shit. It looks like shit, stinks like shit. It's probably shit.
Yeah,
it's the third one in a row. If you look at the last Manny Pacquiao fight, it's just
Jeff Horn or something.
Jeff Horn. Yeah. How the fuck did Pacquiao lose that fight? Let alone close. Yeah, Horn comes out like an 8-point victor.
It's awful.
It's unexplainable.
And this is why boxing. One of the big reasons why boxing isn't fun anymore. Because look, boxing is one of those sports. It's a heavy gambling sport. Lots of people put money on boxing, and when people can't be very confident, when they're not confident when it comes to their money and the sport itself, then people are going to stop watching. To mention it's MMA has just totally, utterly just overtaken the sport in general when it comes to the combat sports.
Fight sports, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is another no pun intended black eye for boxing. This was another chance for them because coming off of
everybody already thinks you're fixed, and now you've just proven it.
Coming off the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor, that was a good fight.
Yes,
it lived up to the hype. That was something that boxing could have maybe capitalized on. With this, they didn't. There was more controversy with one of the judges, and everybody knows why it became a draw because they want to see a rematch. When you could have had a rematch anyway. Could have had a rematch anyway. But no, they have to bring a judge into this and totally screw things up. So that's the stupid shit of the week. Guys, fan question. What streak was more telling? Cleveland's winning streak or the Dodgers' losing streak?
Dodgers losing streak. You know what? LA has kind of been scrapping together a team that's been on a pretty damn good run so far this year. Just kind of winning with a very flawed team, and kind of all those flaws have come to play all at once.
And they've been trying to do it for a while. Like, go back to what you said earlier, Adam, about when the last time they had a losing streak was they were playing in Brooklyn, and it was 1958.
Yeah. So 11 games or more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. How does this carry over for the Dodgers then? Playoffs, because they're going to make the playoffs, obviously.
They already
think they
clinched.
clinched
They
the
already
division.
clinched already.
Yeah.
They've got 2 weeks to figure it out. I think they've won 2 in a row, haven't they?
I'm going to look right now.
Pretty sure they've won 2 in a row. I think they'll be fine. They get 2 weeks to get to. Now, if they've lost like their last 11 games to go into the playoffs, I'd say they're fucked. But
They're
2 weeks to figure it
4-6 in their last 10 games.
yeah, they'll be fine.
Mhm.
What about looking in the American League with Cleveland and Houston then? Both those teams clinched.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland overtook.
Who's got the best record?
Cleveland?
Cleveland by
Cleveland?
2 games.
Oh well, we're talking Dodgers. They wouldn't see each other in the World Series.
See, the thing is with the Dodgers, they're going to have to try to go.
Dodgers still have the best record in the NL.
Right, but the thing is, you got to look at it. They got to go through Arizona and Colorado, who are actually.
Arizona or Colorado.
Yeah.
What's their records against each other this year?
We'll look that up.
It's not important. I know the Dodgers are ahead in those. So, I'm not worried about the Dodgers. The Indians, it's a magical run, and they did it all without Andrew Miller, which makes them even more dangerous in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Which he just came back from the DL.
He did.
All right.
If they were smart, they'd use him once a week until the playoffs, and that would be it.
Moving along, TMSNX for news tonight. I don't know if you guys watched Tony Romo at all broadcasting,
I actually watched him
but it's been working out
Kind of
pretty
a
well.
know-it-all.
See the shit that he's predicting here and actually having it come true. Here's a clip. I think.
This is hilarious. It's not just this specific play here. If you've seen all the things from week 1,
Yeah.
he made like 8 predictions and was right 100% correct at 7 of them.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Hey man, he's found.
He's good
he's
at
found
his
a-
job.
Oh come on, load up here. It's not loading up.
Boo. Big Lead, you're the worst.
Thanks, Big Lead.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for failing to deliver on a free service. Jerks.
Oh, that's pretty funny, actually.
Anyways, Tony Romo, good at his job, making all sorts of crazy predictions, and they're actually coming true. Tom Brady says Colin Kaepernick deserves to play in the NFL. I know that's hitting Dorf in the heart there because he hates Colin Kaepernick.
I don't hate him. I just think he's a subpar football player. And I'm willing to acknowledge his politics don't help him.
And Josh McCown still his job.
Yeah, that's inexcusable. Luke does too.
Yep. Kirk Herbstreit not making very many friends at Ohio State. This was a quote from him, and actually, I do agree with his assessment in some sense. 5-star recruits, some of them think they're more important than they really are. They're very replaceable. They're a dime a dozen.
I don't know about a dime a dozen, but he's not wrong about the rest of it.
About them being very replaceable.
They're college athletes. There's 85 scholarship players and about 30 walk-ons on a given college football roster. You're very replaceable.
Unfortunately for Kirk Herbstreit, I'm not saying this is his fault, but I don't.
His alma mater.
I usually don't like criticizing the media too much, but in this sense, I am because of the platform, the way that they.
At the same time, yeah, they are amateurs.
The way that they covet these players, especially ESPN, with their their announcements and
their recruiting coverage
Yeah,
and the
it's-
All-American games and gotcha.
Herbstreit, you are. I'm not saying you're the problem, but the entity that you're part of is
the problem.
most certainly one of the big problems here. And maybe the NFL was thinking of combining the Rams and Chargers fan bases to fill up an arena because the Spun ran a picture of the Chargers stadium today. Awful. Rams, awful once again. I don't know.
The Rams only have 34,000 seats to fill.
I don't
They
know.
still can't do it.
I don't know what the whole thing about getting to.
It's
Los Angeles. People don't care.
I got a question for you real quick.
People don't care about USC unless, of course, they're really good.
I have a question for you guys real quick.
Go ahead.
Out of those two teams, which one moves back to their original
They'll
town they were
never.
just
Like, you're going to need 20 years for them to ever go back to their original
But
home.
which one do you think it would be the first one to
Chargers.
move? You think Chargers would be the next
Chargers.
one? They would move first?
Yeah, and they will keep.
Because the Rams were successful there before. I think they could support one franchise. I bet you the Chargers end up somewhere like, I don't know, Portland, Oregon.
I could see him moving back to San Diego.
I don't know. I think
don't-
the only way that'll happen, Spanos sells the team.
Yeah.
Some other, San Diegoan billionaire decides to bring, I'm going to buy the team and bring them home. I think that's the only scenario that works out because essentially the double bird has been flipped too many times to the Chargers fans for them to take a Dean Spanos-owned Chargers team back with open arms.
Yep. Very, very possible, but it's not going to work. 2 NFL teams in LA not going to work. And it's very apparent right now. So anything else, you guys, on this 300th episode of
I wanted to say thanks to everybody out there for making this possible. Thanks to you
Yes.
for hosting us at your house and building the studio back here for us to get into this.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for
Showing up each and every week except
thank you, Dorf, for showing up.
Well, he doesn't show up every week either. Don't try to pull that shit too.
I have missed one show.
Hey,
in like what have we been doing this together since like 2012?
Something like that.
End of 2012 was when
Sorry that I missed a couple. And real quick, Dorf, going back to your Los Angeles things. Los Angeles Dodgers have a losing record against Arizona and Colorado.
Do they?
Yes. 8-11 against Arizona and 7-9 against Colorado.
So we still have games against Colorado left.
Mm-hmm.
See how that series goes.
Yeah. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dorf. Thank you, Shawn. Thank you to all the listeners out there. It's been a great 300 run here. Looking for more.
Looking forward to the next hundo.
Yep. We'll be back next week for episode 301.
Well, you two will be next.
Yeah,
Back next week.
Yeah, because this lazy bum here is going to take another day off.
Sorry.
You got the stupid anniversary thing or something. It's
And my birthday, too.
Overrated.
It's almost like you might lose a woman or something if you...
You're too old to be celebrating your birthday. You should be...
right?
You should be shunning your birthday.
Don't lose your women.
Never mind. I'm not going to go there.
Don't lose your lady over coming to do a podcast with us. We ain't worth it.
We'll serve it next time, though. Bye for now.